Hi everyone and welcome back to the LL Sports and News channel. Today I am joined in the studio by my good friend and esteemed journalist Shane Willoughby in the house. How you doing, bro?
Man? Good to see you again.
You alright?
Yeah, I'm good, man. How are you doing?
I'm alright, man. We're here, of course, to talk about what I think anyway, and I'm pretty sure you agree, is the biggest fight of the boxing year. To me, well, actually, you know what? Maybe the Tyson Fury Usyk fight.
I mean, in terms of
numbers,
stature and the money that it's going to generate, definitely. But if you're talking about, like, as you said before, off camera, a trade fight.
This is a trade fight.
I don't even think it's a question of the year. You can argue, you can arguably say it's the best fight of the last decade in terms of
potentially, yeah.
You know, like you think about Crawford Spence that didn't live up to the bar. You know, this is best versus the best. This is what you ask for as a boxing fan.
Yeah, I mean, this is such a highly anticipated fight, man. This is what I call a genuine trade fight. Trade fight meaning that everyone in the trade is talking about this fight, and you talk to so many people. One says Beterbiev is going to win, the other one says Bivol's going to win. So we're talking about a fight. Let me just say, Artur Beterbiev, he's got 4 belts.
Well, three. WBO, WBC, and IBF.
He's got the IBO.
No,
I know it's
Bivol has the IBO. Okay. Bivol has the IBO and WBA.
See, this is why we got Shane on the show, man, because if I ever slip up, he's here to correct me. Esteemed boxing journalist, like I said. So, yeah. But it's all the belts, right?
Yeah,
all the marbles are on the line. And this, without a doubt, man, this is a very evenly matched clash.
Yeah.
Between, let's face it, easily the 2 best light heavyweights in the world.
Definitely, and just to add on what you've just said is, we haven't seen an undisputed fight at light heavyweight in 25 years since Roy Jones Jr.
That's right.
And since then we've had like Kovalev, Adonis Stevenson, Andre Ward. We've never had all the belts come together up until now. So
just to recap then, so you got Artur Beterbiev, he's what did we say? WBC, IBF and WBO?
Correct.
And then you got Dmitry Bivol, IBO and WBA?
Correct.
And these 2 guys, they're both from Russia, although Beterbiev, he's originally from Dagestan.
Yeah, he fights out of Canada now, though.
Yeah, and then you've got Dmitry Bivol, originally from Kyrgyzstan, moved to Russia when he was a kid to pursue a boxing career. So he's been boxing all his life.
You know, it's crazy. His entire family left where they live and moved to Russia when he was 11 for his boxing career.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? So from a young age, he was being... Well, I'm not going to use that word beginning with G, but from a young age, he was being pushed towards
being a boxer. Yeah, facts.
It's amazing. And it's interesting as well that none of his family are Russian.
No,
so his dad's from Moldova and his mum's Korean.
Yeah.
So that's quite a unique stat in itself. But listen, man, this fight brings together, how can I put it, the relentless aggression of Beterbiev. Yeah. He's just like a machine, isn't he?
I mean, it's the old school adage of boxer versus puncher. Like we've always had that saying, who wins, a great boxer or a great puncher? And I feel this discrediting Beterbiev to just call him a puncher, because he does have great boxing skill. But when you have 20 wins, 20 knockouts, and you've knocked out more world champions than anyone in boxing to this day, I mean, it just speaks for itself. He's a knockout machine.
Absolutely, and like you said, don't just think this guy's a walk-forward puncher.
Literally.
He's much more nuanced than that. He's got great boxing skill. He's got great positioning, timing. He's got the lot, man. I mean, that's borne out as well by his amateur career. I mean, you will know that he beat Usyk in the amateur.
Yeah, he fought Usyk 3 times. He beat Usyk the first time and lost to Usyk twice, famously in the Olympics in London, which was controversial because he dropped Usyk in the third round.
Yeah, he did,
with a body shot. Yeah. So a lot of people say he should have won that fight, and maybe in the pros he might have would have got the win, but he definitely, I mean, it's 300 and something wins and only 5 losses.
That's right. And I think Bivol's got something like 268 wins and 15 losses.
Yeah. And his amateur career goes back to when he was 11.
Yeah, man.
So
these guys have been on it from kids, man, and here they are today. Okay, then, so before we're going to talk about the actual prediction later, but what I thought we'd start with, Shane, is just have a little look at the tail of the tape. So as we said, both of these guys are formerly Russian, but they've moved away. I think Bivol now lives in America, doesn't he?
Yeah,
I think he lives in California or something.
Yeah, Los Angeles, LA.
Yeah, but they're formerly Eastern Bloc fighters, but Right, so Beterbiev, he's age 39, so he's getting on in years, whereas Bivol's 33. So none of them are spring chickens, but I would say Beterbiev is definitely on the older side.
100%.
You know,
he's had the harder fights as well.
Yeah. Beterbiev, height 5'11.5", whereas Dmitry Bivol's half an inch taller, 6 foot. Reach, Beterbiev has a slight advantage, 73 inches to Dmitry Bivol, 72. Fights, 20 for Beterbiev, 23 for Dmitry Bivol. Wins, well, they're both unbeaten. But let's look at the knockout ratio. Artur Beterbiev has the perfect KO record. Literally. In terms of, he's had 20 fights, he's won all 20 by KO, so you can't get any better than that. Whereas Dmitry Bivol, as I think Shane said it, he's not a big puncher. He's an accurate puncher, but he's not a big puncher. So he's not as heavy-handed as Bivol. But listen, he still has 12 fights that have ended early, so you know he can punch as well. Make no mistake. No draws, no losses. Let's look at some of the best wins. Let's start with Beterbiev, right? Gavodzic.
I think most people would say that would, on paper, would be his best win.
I would say so. He stopped Gavodzic in 10. And for those of you who don't know, Gavodzic, Ukrainian guy, former champion.
Former silver medalist at the Olympics.
Former silver medalist, yeah.
He retired Adonis Stevenson. Like, let's be honest, he retired Adonis Stevenson. So
and guess what? Beterbiev nearly retired him, because after Beterbiev stopped him in 10 rounds, I think he took like a 2-year hiatus from the sport.
And he just come back the other day. So
and I think in that fight as well, he went to hospital after that.
Yeah, he did. That fight was actually in Philly. With the Beterbiev and Gavodzic fight, though, going into the fight, I think it was genuinely built as a 50-50.
It was.
And it was the first time, I think it was the first time in the turn of the century that you had two undefeated fighters fighting in a unification at light heavyweight. So,
yeah. Callum Smith, our own Callum Smith from Liverpool, Beterbiev destroyed him, let's be honest, man. Callum Smith, who's a very, very good fighter, by the way. Former champion himself. When he fought Beterbiev, he was never in it. From start. He didn't win a round, right? No, he was completely dominated and stopped in 7.
That was his most recent fight as well. That was in January.
That's right. And a few people were saying, man, you know, Callum could be catching him at the right time, but no way. You know what I mean? He got smoked.
I mean, that's my defense for people. When people say, oh, Beterbiev's long in the tooth and he's past it, like, he just knocked out Callum Smith earlier this year with no sign of age.
No, it was a very impressive performance. Also beaten our own Anthony Yard. Anthony Yard, good friend of the channel actually, good friend of mine, good friend of Shane's. Excellent fighter, one of our best in Britain. He went around longer. He got stopped in 8, but to be fair to Anthony Yard, he did all right.
I'd probably say that's Beterbiev's toughest fight. I'd probably say it's his toughest fight.
And Beterbiev, if you listen to what Beterbiev said in the post-fight interviews, he actually rates Anthony Yard, so that's big coming from him. But yeah, that was an impressive win. Joe Smith Jr., he's a common opponent for both guys actually, whereas Bivol beat him, Joe Smith on points. Beterbiev crushed him in 2 rounds. You know,
I mean, Joe Smith Jr. went in with a kamikaze game plan. Like, he just literally went in there with his face first, trying to. I don't even know what he was doing. He got knocked down in the first minute of the fight.
Yeah, he got smoked, man. There's no other way to describe it. He got smoked. Very impressive win. Marcus Brown, former US Olympian, good boxer. Did all right for a while, used his feet, tried to move around the ring, man. But
that was the famous cut when Beterbiev had that famous cut.
Yeah, cut Beterbiev. But once Beterbiev came to grips with how to track him down, because Marcus Brown was
doing a lot of running.
Once he positioned his feet and cut off the ring, over. You know what I mean? Beat Marcus Brown up and then knocked him out. I think he knocked him down about 3 or 4 times in that fight as well.
I mean, he literally, some people say Marcus Brown quit. It's one of the few times I actually give someone a pass. Yeah, I give someone a pass.
He was getting pummeled, right?
He's getting grounded.
He was getting pummeled, so, you know, it's very easy for people out there to say, he quit. But listen, man, Marcus Brown showed a lot of heart in that fight. He just got it beaten out of him.
Yeah, I mean...
and that's what this guy does. Beterbiev, listen, he's one of those guys, right? If you've never seen him before, then trust me on this. If you've seen him before, then you'll know. He doesn't have to load up on his punches.
100%.
He's a very physical, powerful, strong man. He doesn't have to swing to get the power. You know what I mean? He just hits guys with regular punches, and you can see the look on their face. As if, wow, you know what I mean? But you see him when he's training, some of the exercises and that he does with the dumbbells and
you listen to some of his
barbell and all that.
Some of his sparring partners, they say sparring. I remember there was a who I can't even remember who said it, but they were saying that they sparred him and he's like, I'd rather get hit by a car. Like,
hey, listen. Dan Aziz, Dan's a good mate of mine. Shout out to Dan Aziz. You're mates with Dan Aziz. Dan Aziz has sparred with Beterbiev, and he told me off the record, he said, Laurie, this guy, man, is unbelievable. He goes, I was watching him knock out sparring partners before me, and I was thinking, wow, what am I going to do?
He even said, do I need to be here? Like, do I need to be here?
But on the flip side of that, Dan says he actually got a lot of confidence by sparring with Beterbiev, because he's thinking that if I can go in with this man who's an absolute monster and survive to tell the tale, then that shows that
facts. No one else in the division is going to cause me that.
Yeah, you know, he said he's not going to come against anyone who quite like him. So yeah, man. Moving on to Bivol, some of his more impressive performances. Lyndon Arthur, again, British light heavyweight, good boxer, former British champion. Bivol beat him on points, dropped him as well, didn't he? I think he nearly stopped Lyndon, so that was a good win. Probably his most famous win is that he beat Canelo, the great
Vegas.
Canelo. Yeah, in Vegas, slapped him. No disrespect to Canelo, man, but Bivol beat him easy. And the impressive thing about that is that before the fight, a lot of people was speculating that Canelo would win.
Like you. I told everyone before was going to win, but you.
No, but why did I say that? Why did I say that?
Oh, it's in Vegas, and it's controversial.
Yeah, I mean, let's put it into context. I was saying that the fight would probably go the distance because, as we said before, as good as he is technically and as skilled as he is, Bivol is not a knockout puncher.
Yeah.
So I was speculating that the fight was going to go the distance because let's face it, Canelo's got one of the best chins in boxing.
Facts.
100%. He's got a granite chin. So I knew that Bivol weren't going to knock him out. And I was reasoning that if Canelo does enough to win, say, 3 or 4 rounds, and it goes to the cards, I thought there might be a bit of skullduggery.
Of course.
You know what I mean? I'm quite open in saying that. I thought that they were going to shaft Bivol. But in the end, he beat up Canelo so bad that there was
They couldn't even try. And they tried. I think they tried their best.
They did make it a lot closer. So I was right in a way, innit?
Facts.
Because I was convinced that they were going to shaft Bivol. But in the end, Bivol beat him so badly that it was no... If they'd have given it to Canelo, there would have been like grand larceny investigation.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean? Because, you know, that. But anyway, he beat Canelo, like I said, very comfortably. Excellent performance. He's also beaten Craig Richards.
Which I think is Bivol's toughest fight. I've seen every Bivol fight. I think Craig Richards, just the awkwardness of the style, and he's naturally used to going back as Bivol, and he's fought a guy taller, longer range, who's going back. I felt like he struggled with that style, especially early.
Yeah, Craig did well against him. In fact, I remember at the end of that fight, Craig actually thought he'd done enough to win. I didn't think he'd done enough to win, but and it weren't no like showing out. He genuinely thought he did enough to win, him and his camp. So,
he
they had
won
a good
more
game
rounds
plan.
than Canelo. I tell you.
He did. No, he's come the closest to beating Bivol.
Facts. I agree.
You know what I mean? Without a doubt. The fights I've seen anyway. But yeah, it was a good performance by Craig, but not enough. Some people said that Bivol boxed within himself, and he could have done more. But hey, he got the win anyway. That's a sign of a great fighter. Even when they're not on their top form, they still pull out the wins. John Pascal was a good win for him. Also, Sullivan Barrero. Those two guys are both good light heavyweights, world-class light heavyweights. Bivol pretty much dominated them. He stopped Sullivan Barrero.
Yeah, I think that's one of his most notable stoppages as well.
So that's their body of work, man. As I said, these guys are phenomenal. Strengths and weaknesses. Let's talk about Beterbiev first.
I'll be honest, for me, like, Beterbiev's biggest strength, obviously, is overwhelmingly his size, his pressure, his power. That's what he's going to use to impose against Bivol. You know, both fighters are relatively clean. You know, they're not messy fighters, so they like to get clean work off. But I think you alluded to it earlier, or you pretty much said it earlier. The fact that he doesn't have to load up on punches and he can still hurt you is probably his biggest advantage. You look at how easy it was for Bivol to almost expect Canelo's shots because he was loading up on these shots. Because all of the shots Beterbiev throws is short and is right in front of him, he doesn't have to expend as much energy. So even though he is aging, I think another advantage for Beterbiev is he's been in the trenches. He's had that gut check. He's been down against Callum Johnson. He got hurt against Yard. He's been down on the cards in certain fights. He's had the different experiences where Bivol's had everything smooth sailing thus far. And I feel like when it does get dark, because Beterbiev has been to that place, it's easy for him to go back. Whereas we don't know about Bivol. We don't know.
Well, to facilitate, I made a little list. So I've kind of cheated on you a little bit because I'm asking you and I've already made a list. But let me know if you agree. So strengths of Artur Beterbiev. I said punching power, which you alluded to, toughness, boxing IQ. His boxing IQ is very underrated. Like I said before, don't think that this is just a walk forward guy, hands up, looking to let his hands go when he gets a chance. No, he thinks about what he's doing. Very good IQ. And you would expect that. Like we said, the guy's been boxing since he was a kid. So he knows what he's doing in there. He closes the distance very, very well. If you look at him fight, his footwork is very good. A little quick interchanges of the feet, and you know, he goes in different directions. All those things are all calculated to walk down his opponent. The mentality, the ruthlessness of him, his intimidation factor is off the scale. He's a scary dude, bro. I'm not going to. He's a scary dude, especially with boxing gloves on. He's a scary dude. We spoke about his physical strength before. Unbelievable physical strength. Go and look at some of his training videos, the way this man's curling a barbell with his wrists and hands
and doing
like
press-ups on his fingernails.
You know what I mean? His body punching as well. If he can't get it to the head, he will go downstairs and work you over to the body. And of course, like you said, top-level experience, amateur and pro. Former world amateur champion. Didn't quite win the Olympics, but if you look at
Usyk.
Yeah, that's right. But, you know, he's got top-level experience, both amateur and pro. Strengths. Sorry, let's talk about I wouldn't like to say weaknesses, but where he's less strong.
Where Bivol can expose, you know, the things that Bivol can expose.
Yeah. They age.
Yeah, obviously, the age. Obviously, I see he put in activity as well.
Yeah, he's not fought that often because he's had injuries.
I think he's one fight in 18 or 19 months.
Yeah,
and
something like that.
Yeah, because his last fight was Callum Smith, and then before that, it wasn't in.
I mean, even this fight was put back because of injuries. He's had injuries to his rib, knee, and I think his elbow as well. Yeah. So he's had injuries, man. And, you know what I mean? Father Time waits for no one. They say Father Time is undefeated. He's 39 going on 40. Now, it doesn't matter how fit you keep yourself. At 40, you're not going to be as good as or effective as you are when you were 30. That's just natural dynamics, right? So age, injury prone, inactivity. He does cut easily. If you look at the Marcus Brown fight.
I think that's the. I'm not 100% sure on that. I'm not 100%.
Well, he did get.
He got cut against Brown.
In fact, if you look at he's still got scar tissue to this day.
Yeah. But
that could open up, yeah?
Yeah, true, but I mean, he's had so much fights since then where he's been hit with big shots and not got cut. Yeah. Like even the Yard fight where he got hit with good shots and...
He did get cut in that fight.
He did?
He did.
Well, then I'm standing corrected. I guess he does get cut relatively easy. I watched the fight like 2 days ago. I didn't even remember that, but go on.
And he can get put down. I'm not saying it's a weakness, but he can be dropped. Callum Johnson dropped him. Anthony Yard came very close to dropping him a couple of times. So I'm not saying it's a weakness, but what I'm saying, it's not like Canelo's chin, where Canelo's never hit the canvas.
Definitely.
My man can go down if hit right. Let's have a quick look at Bivol's strengths and weaknesses. The strength would be that he's younger and fresher. He's 33 as opposed to Beterbiev's 39. Tremendous athleticism. You've again watched this guy train. Some of the things he does in training, his footwork is next level. He's got great engine, you know what I mean? He's a real athlete. And always comes into the fights in excellent condition. I mean, a lot of his fights go 12 rounds, so that tells you in itself.
I mean, one of the things that I'm assuming you're going to allude to, but this is just a statistical fact. He is the best fighter in the sport at winning rounds. That's a statistical fact.
Yeah, I would agree.
He's won 127 of his last 140 rounds. That's just a statistical fact. That's not my opinion.
Yeah,
so that's ridiculous.
This is why he's an esteemed journalist.
It's like you can't. I think only Shakur Stevenson gets hit less than him in a round, according to CompuBox. So his ability, his boxing ability, is second to none. It's not even a debate.
And you know what? Shout out to you on that, because I remember you were telling me these types of things a few years back, and I was kind of questioning you a little bit. But it's funny that when you told me these things, then I started to take closer attention. And then I thought, yeah, you know what? Shane, for you, he knows his thing. So big up to you for that. He's right. Right, combination punching. You will often see my man set up the jab and then unload 4-5, bang, 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 and then step back and move away.
Facts.
He's excellent combination puncher. Sometimes I think that if he wasn't preoccupied in letting off all those combinations, if he sat down on his punches a bit more, he'd probably get the stoppage. But
I feel like it's because he's not greedy at all. Like he doesn't over commit at all. Like when he gets what he got, when he gets his shots, he pretty much makes sure he's moving. He doesn't. He's not gonna throw and then overcommit. Like when you saw AJ the other day, when he landed a good shot, you will never see Bivol overcommit and get greedy. Like there was a time when he had Canelo on the ropes. Canelo's trying to gold him and he's like, no bro, that's not happening.
The fight. Yeah. No, that's a very good point. His ring IQ, again, next level.
But you say he can be boring. That almost sometimes works as a strength because he's willing to just take what he can get and go, and he's not greedy.
Yeah, he's one of those guys. He's not like a Beterbiev. Beterbiev likes to take man out. He's got that ruthlessness about him. Whereas Bivol, he's quite content to box your head off. You know what I mean? He did have a good stoppage in his last fight against the Libyan fighter in the Saudi card. Zinad, yeah. He looked pretty good there. But then Zinad is, let's be honest, a couple
lower
of levels
level.
below the likes of Beterbiev. But even so, it was a very impressive win. And it was his first knockout in a long time. So, right, like you said, the experience we spoke about before and the hand speed as well. Bivol's got very impressive hand speed for a big man. So watch out for that. The weaknesses, or like I said, it's not so much weaknesses, but it's areas where he's not as strong in. Like we said, lack of knockout power. He doesn't tend to knock guys out the way Beterbiev does. Also, at times, he can fight down to the level of his opponents.
I agree. I think that's a big weakness for Bivol.
But he can't afford to be doing that against Beterbiev. Otherwise, he'll wake up in the dressing room. So, hey, that's not going to work. Like you said, can be a bit safety first, doesn't always follow up on attacks. Some people have accused him of being a bit boring. I've got to be honest, I did before. Because sometimes it's appeared to me that if he stepped his level up, you could get the guy out of there, but he was content to just win on points. But hey,
I mean, he will take a points victory on Saturday. So it doesn't matter how it comes, he's going to take it.
And just following on from that, some people have said he has a somewhat amateur style. Where he bounces in
the Soviet style, definitely.
Yeah, people have said that's not necessarily a weakness though. That's just his style. So that's the one thing that I did want to ask you though, and it's been a bit of a subplot to this fight, and I'm sure you've heard about it. I'd be interested to hear your views.
I know exactly what you're
Dmitry Bivol's wife, or is it ex-wife?
Bro, I didn't know.
She's been in the news a lot.
I didn't know if apparently she...
I'll tell the people why, right? So Dmitry Bivol, I don't know if he's still married to her or not.
This is ex-wife.
But they're apart, I know that. They're estranged. But she has made allegations saying that she was subject to domestic violence at the hands of Dmitry Bivol. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. I'm just telling you what's out there. But it's interesting that before the fight, she's come out and she's openly said, I want Beterbiev to win.
She's gone further than that.
She's gone further than that by saying, trying to
expose some of his weaknesses.
Yeah, and
she's sending Beterbiev DMs with like doctor reports. I was like, wow, this boy.
This boxing for you, man. You don't get this in any other sport, do you?
It's crazy.
It's bizarre. But what we're saying is true. She has come out on the record and said, look, if you want to beat him, please know that he's had knee injuries, his movement, if you go this way, blah, blah, blah. It's crazy, man. It's mad.
Crazy.
What's been going on. But if you ever get a chance to go online and see it, you'll see it for yourself. But right, okay then. We're running out of time. Predictions. Now, I'm just going to say, man, I've been going back and forth on this because there was a time when I was favouring Bivol quite heavily because I was thinking Beterbiev's been out of the ring for a long time. He's closing in on 40 years old. He's had injuries. They're well documented. You're thinking to yourself, how long can he go on? And then you look at Bivol's recent form. He's looked good. He looks highly motivated for this fight, which you would expect. So I was kind of thinking Bivol. Then I started thinking about Beterbiev again. I think, that power, man. 20 fights, 20 knockouts. I thought, can Bivol withstand that for 12 rounds or less? And then I was thinking to myself, then I went back to Bivol saying, if there's one guy out there that could beat Beterbiev, it's probably going to be Bivol.
Facts.
So I really, going back and forth all the time, man. And Bivol's been much busier than Beterbiev over the last year and a half, as you said, Shane. 6 years younger. Could this give an edge to Bivol? But what do you think?
I've been 50-50 the whole way through, and this is why I wanted to see the fighter so much. But if I give a slight edge, I'm going to give a slight edge to Bivol, sorry. And the reason why I'm going to give that edge, one of the main things I think is the main adjustments have to come from Beterbiev. I think Beterbiev, out of everyone he's fought, he's always been a better puncher, but I also think he's been a better boxer. I don't think he's ever been against a guy who actually has a better ring generalship than him. This will be the first time. And then also there's small margins. Bivol's last 3 fights has been in Saudi. Beterbiev's fighting in Canada, United Kingdom before when he fought Yard. Colder climates. These small margins can make a difference.
No, but you say that, but both of them, top level amateurs, and nobody fought all around the world.
Yeah, I know, but the small... Bivol's fought in Saudi, but Beterbiev hasn't. That means he also hasn't had a camp in Saudi. He also hasn't. For me, when you get over there and you fight in that level of heat and under those lights, for me that can make a difference. And it's small margins. For me, I don't like fighters who can only win by knockout. And I think his only method of winning is by knockout. He's not going to outpoint Bivol. So I'm slightly, only like 0.5% leaning towards Bivol. But I won't be surprised if Beterbiev knocks him out. Won't be surprised at all.
But yeah, I hear you. So you're leaning ever so slightly towards Bivol. I mean, everything you said there does make sense.
I mean, that's why I'm going to the fight on Saturday.
Yeah, I was going to touch on that. Yeah. Right, okay. You know what? In a way, you've made my mind up. The fact that you're going for Bivol, I was kind of edging towards Beterbiev, but now you've gone for Bivol. You know what I mean? It would be remiss of me not to go for Beterbiev now. So we can be at odds.
Yeah, of course.
So listen, I'm going for Beterbiev, and I'm going for Beterbiev by points win.
Beterbiev by points?
Yeah, I think that. But hear the drama. I think that en route to the 12 rounds, I think he's going to hurt and knock down Bivol a couple of times, and those knockdowns will be the decisive factor in him getting the points win. So I don't think he'll stop. I think Bivol will be the first one to take Beterbiev the distance in the professional ranks, but I think Beterbiev will get the win, and en route to a unanimous 12-round points decision, I think the difference will be the power, and I think he will hurt Bivol a couple of times, rock him, maybe even drop him, and that will be the difference. But I reckon it's going to be a tremendous fight. I know it's good. Listen, man, this has got Fight of the Year written all over
100%.
it. And as you alluded to earlier, my man will be going out there.
Yeah.
Shane.
I'm flying on Wednesday.
Yeah. So what we'll be doing with you, we'll be, we're going to hook you up with some stuff, and you can do some filming for us surrounding the fight, hopefully. And then when you get back from Saturday, we want you in the studio again. You can tell us how everything...
Yeah, no problem.
Everything went down. And let's face it as well, there's some excellent fights on the undercard, man. The British titles on the line between Fabio Wardley and Fraser Clark. That's a rematch of their first fight. I went to that fight earlier in the year. Tremendous fight, man. I'm leaning towards Fraser ever so slightly, but it wouldn't surprise me if...
Yeah.
Who you got on that one? Fabio Wardley of Ipswich or Fraser Clark?
Wardley.
You got Wardley. Yeah, I might go... Again, I'm going to go Fraser.
Wardley stoppage.
Make it different. But yeah, excellent fight. Chris Eubank Jr. makes his return on that fight. You've got, on that fight card, you've got Ben Whittaker. He's fighting on there. And I think you've got Jaya Pattaya, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's fighting Jack Massey.
Jack Massey.
If you've never seen Jaya Pattaya fight before, a really good fighter. He's from Australia, cruiserweight champion, really good. And he's taking on Britain's Jack Massey. So it's a tremendous card, man. Another Turkey Al Sheikh card.
Yeah, of course.
Tremendous fight. So that's it, people. That's it. You've heard what Shane's had to say. He's leaning ever so slightly towards Bivol. I'm leaning towards Beterbiev. But the one thing we are in full agreement is it's going to be a tremendous fight. We both think it's the fight of the year, and it has the way it will play out on the night. So listen, mate. Shane, thanks for coming in and giving us the benefit of your expertise and your knowledge. Thanks to all of you for watching. Appreciate that. Thanks for supporting the LL Sports and News channel. Let me know in the comments who you got. Have you got Bivol or have you got Beterbiev? We want to know. Like I said, this fight could go any one of a number of ways, but the one thing we do know is going to be a great fight. But anyway, thanks for watching. Take care. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you soon. I'm out.